Hey guys, what's going on? So I wanted to go over some of the stuff that I talked to Stephen Brooks about last night. So if you missed the webinar, it was a pretty good webinar. We did like an hour talking about these support and resistance lines that Stephen has an algorithm churning away all night to figure out what the most likely areas of support and resistance will be on SPX and therefore also ES as well. And so these lines of support and resistance, they're not just technical lines drawn on a chart. They're actually much more to do with market makers hedging and things like that. A very complex, involved system that he has refined over the last couple of years. And a lot of people are very happy with how to basically use these lines and use them as lines of support and resistance to do trades on. And so I got Stephen to agree last night, and I'll leave a link in the description below where you can go and watch the webinar where he talks about where these things come from a bit more. And I got him to agree to send these levels out to my email list every day in June, basically, starting now. So for the next week or two, if you sign up in the description below, so I'll put this link right here, you can get the SPX key levels for free every single day. I'll email them out to you directly with a little commentary of what I'm planning to do or what we could possibly do with these. And then do a summary video like this one at the end of the day as well, which will be pretty fun. So yeah, let's have a look. So one thing people are asking is SPX, he gives the levels, so these are today's levels: support 1, support 2, support 3, and then resistance 1, 2, and 3. And he put in what the premium changes for ES. So a lot of people are doing funded futures, or they want to do some sort of futures trading. And so Stephen pointed out that today in particular, these are not exact. Like, they do follow each other, but they're not exact. ES has a premium over SPX, and today it was a 6-point premium. I don't know how much it changes. Well, guess we'll see. And he's going to point out every day. But yeah, so what you do for ES is you just add the 6 points onto these levels. So 4245 would be 4251, 4200 would be 4206 for ES. So you can switch to that. And that's important because maybe you want to trade futures, maybe you want to sell ES contracts, or play it whatever way. And we can talk about some ways to play it and some thoughts I have, and you guys can kind of think how you can use these lines. And it's been pretty interesting today. So basically you mark these lines up on your charts, and I did that on TradingView. But what I realized pretty quickly is that the main two lines would be 4200 and 4300. So support, basically where we opened up. So if we go look at TradingView, I'll just put it for one day. By the way, these come out pre-market and they're only good for one day, so they're not swing trading lines. And also they're out before the market opens, which is pretty useful if you think about it. So let's see where we're at. So Wednesday, this is the start of Thursday right here. So this is the open. So you can see we were at 42.70 roughly when we opened. And so it was a pretty sideways day. So there was no way that we were dropping down to other levels. So like these other support levels, 42.45, 42.25. So I haven't even bothered plotting those. All I've plotted is the 4200, which is this bottom one right here, and then 4300, which is this top one. And again, I haven't even bothered putting in the top 2 or 3 levels that are mentioned in the email that he sent me this morning. So 4310 and 4320, pretty close to 4300, right? So let's just say 4300 and 4200 are the two main lines for today. And it's the end of the day, the market's closed. And you can see we really did stay between these two lines. Now, the way it worked out is we were more towards the 4300 when we opened than we were the 4200. So you can see here's the 4200. And you can see what basically happens. We came up and we just couldn't break through that 4300. Tested it all the way up to within just maybe like 3 points of the line. So you can see it really did just kind of hold that line pretty nicely. So day one of Stephen's levels, I would say I'm pretty happy with them. I mean, if I'd been taking puts up here or even on this one, would have made a little bit money. But I think the real value for a market like this and how to play these is probably if you do more advanced, sophisticated trades. For example, selling covered calls or naked calls even. So betting that the price of the SPX or SPY or ES wouldn't close above this key level of 4,300, or selling cash secured puts or naked puts, betting that the price of SPX, SPY, or ES won't come down and close beneath this line here. They'd have to be 0 DTE though, because these are just, like I said, intraday lines. And so I don't know how Stephen trades these, and I know he runs a premium service that we're going to be talking about in the next few weeks. I'm probably going to have him back on my YouTube channel and talk about it a little bit more as he starts to open that up for people. But one of the things I think that you gain from Stephen's stuff is not just these key levels, but how the best way to play them is. Because let's face it, waiting for puts up here is the simple play that everybody probably thinks of, right? But would we really have managed to play any puts today? So this didn't quite test the level. It was 6 points below the level. So you might have waited to get in up here and it never really made it. So you never took any puts on this thing. And again, here we're really close and maybe you'd take some puts, but you didn't have any time to really make any money from those puts. Plus it's so close to the end of the day, 0 DTE puts would be terrifying. So this level did seem to hold, at least approximately, but it would have been very difficult to use a simple option-based strategy to make any money from it today. So having the level hold, this is a previous day by the way. The levels are specific to that day, but sometimes they'll be the same on other days, right? Just because of the way the market makers are doing their nonsense, really. And so like this day would have been a lot better because you could have taken puts at the open if 4,300 had been a key level, and I think it was. I think I saw Stephen talking about this. And you'd have had a really good trade, basically a buy-side trade on puts, right? I guess the difficulty for me is what to do when you know that the likelihood of the price is going to be between these two key levels, right? It's most likely going to be supported here, resisted here, and you're going to have some sort of action for the day within this channel. And so you're talking about things like theta decay at this point where you don't really care if it goes sideways, you'll still make money. And so you're looking at 0 DTE naked calls, naked puts, or some sort of spread system, which I'm not an expert on at all. Luckily, my friend Lance from Theta Traders is, so he's actually going to place one of these types of trades tomorrow in Sidekick Traders Discord, which is the Discord that we're running. It's mainly a buy-side Discord, so we normally buy SPX calls, puts, buy puts and calls, but he's going to run a thing tomorrow, so if you want to come and check that out, then I'll leave a link to join Sidekick Traders just for the 3-day trial if you just want to come and see what Lance is doing with that. So the hope is that we can figure out a way where we can maximize the potential returns and minimize the risk using these levels. So should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'll place the trade with Lance tomorrow. My guess is it's going to be selling credit spreads or something. I'm not an expert at all on that stuff, so I'm relying on him to guide us on that. But it should be fun. It'll be really interesting to see how it goes. So yeah, so I'm going to send out another email in the morning with the new levels. And then we're going to take a trade in Sidekick Traders Discord. You'll find a link to Sidekick Traders in the description below. And also a link to sign up to my email list to get these levels, as well as other stuff for me as time goes on. Once we get closer to when Stephen's actually going to launch this as a complete service. So it'll be pretty interesting to see that too. Alright guys, hopefully that's helpful, and I'll talk to you in the next video.